What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at these!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at these!
No one! Hang on!
It stinks.
Hang on!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Man.
Hello and welcome back to the Stinker Madness Year 6 Year in Review Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo, because of course.
Oh, fuck you both. Electric Boogaloo.
We this week are counting down our 4 through 1 favorite movies that we watched on the podcast for the podcast in the last year of podcasting. Podcast. Electric Boogaloo. Everything I'm saying is just very long run-on sentences.
You're just taking screen time. You're shattering right now.
Oh my God, Sam, I'm going to end up dead in a swimming pool.
I would say I'm chewing this. That's not funny, dude. God. Just because a guy murders his wife doesn't mean you can make jokes about it.
Shut up.
What the fuck was I going to say? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm Justin. Jackie and Sam are here. Let's get back into this. Counting them down. Casey Kasem style. Jackie.
Number 6. Wait, number 4.
Sam doesn't know where we are.
I can't count, and it's Casey's countdown.
My number 4 was Between Two Ferns.
Between Two Ferns, the movie.
The movie.
call.
I just thought this was so fucking funny. I'd never seen Between Two Ferns. This was my first experience with any of it, and oh my God, I can't even explain it. Like the plumbing blows up, right? Because he's putting down his.
Don't say anything about the plot. It's go in blind on Between Two Ferns. It's where you're at on that.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, just go into it and be open-minded about it. I laughed my ass off.
You don't even have to be open-minded about it. Why it's even being discussed right now is like I legitimately thought that it was a fantastic film. I thought it was good. It has got a 19 on Rotten Tomatoes, which puts it in the same realm as movie 43, and which
was really funny.
I actually thought was really funny too. What the fuck is going on when Between Two Ferns, which is a lot less risky of a film, it's a lot more conventional humor. Some of it's very clean, even. Gets a 19? What the fuck do you want? God damn it.
Apparently, if you make a comedy without some overarching sweeping social statement, you should be stabbed to death in the streets.
Right. I think it's okay that we laugh at a movie.
I'm fine if the film reviewing community is going to get super fucking snooty about shit, but the same motherfucker is not allowed to fucking give a good review of Midway and a bad review of Between Two Ferns, and that's what's happening is these action movies that are bullshit are getting in the 50s to the 60s, and a fucking movie that is actually funny, and that's all it's supposed to do, 15%. Oh, it's so sophomoric.
Right.
Oh, but if you liked Midnight, you're actually just an idiot.
You're just an idiot. I'm with you there. It's infuriating. Like, I think even like fucking Men in Black International had like a 40.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Eat shit.
Metacritic. No, this is Between Two Ferns gets 19. Shut the fuck up. No.
The same pool of people. So there is going to be if Between Two Ferns has a 19 and Men in Black International has a 43, then what we've got is 24% of those people liked that one and didn't like the other one.
And the only reason you could say anything about those movies like Midway, and Men in Black International, well, it's got a lot of special effects. So the fuck what?
It doesn't make it not shitty.
It doesn't make it not shitty.
And then
just because it has more money? What the fuck?
Those are pretty lowbrow jokes. Did you laugh?
Right.
That's its only goal. Having special effects that aren't good.
Right.
Isn't success. We've made shit. Wonderful.
Yeah, but while avoiding the plot, because the plot itself is fucking hilarious. Galifianakis is fucking fantastic in it. All the celebrities that come in are great. There's not a lot of the YouTube show in it, but McConaughey's fucking deadly in it. His group of pals that he goes on this adventure with, it's very Pee-wee-esque. Just this good bunch of people in a car journey movie that's fucking hilarious. I'm with you, dude. I thought it was the funniest movie I saw absolutely in 2019. It was hilarious. McConaughey. All you gotta say is McConaughey, and you're like, oh yeah, McConaughey on Two Ferns. Yeah, I go, okay, I see what's going on here. That's a good call. Yeah, definitely do. Don't listen to the fucking critics, man. They're just being assholes, jerking themselves off. My number 4, unless you got something else.
No.
Okay. My number 4 was also a surprise. A lot of these are surprises, apparently. I thought this was going to stink. I thought we took a chance on this, and then it was going to be like, no, that wasn't very good, because as good as it was, we should have known about this movie, and it should have been a bigger deal. Yeah, total surprise. Sword and Sandal movie that I'd never even, nobody ever talks about, called Sorceress. And I'm going to keep this brief because I think we're going to make it an episode, and I don't want to say too much of it, but wow, is it as it's as bad as any of them. It's real bad, but it hits all these marks, like costume monsters, laser eyeballs, boobies,
disembodied magic heads,
lots of choppins. Head choppins, barbarians in masks that can't see anything and walk into walls. It's as, I can't think of another Sword and Sandal barbarian movie that's got everything like Sorceress does.
Well, the one that it tried to copy and thought it was going to be as successful as Clash of the Titans.
Right.
And that's the thing that also is fun about Sorceress, is that the people making this spent too much money on it and thought it was going to be a big deal.
It stinks. It stinks so bad. I was very surprised about it because I was like, dude, we should have known about this. This is like Deathstalker 2.
It'd been on my queue for years.
Yeah.
I just never got around to it. And then when you was like, should we? I was like, yes. I've been wanting to watch this for years.
Right. It absolutely should be a bigger deal. It should be a cornerstone of barbarian Sword and Sandal movies. It's fucking,
and bad movie viewing. I mean, it's the story behind it is fun too.
Right. Absolutely. So stay tuned for that episode. We think you're gonna like it. Sam, number 4.
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh God, why is it so high?
Because it's that much fucking fun.
It's not either.
I was smiling the whole time. I couldn't
Ear to
ear gritting. I was like, I should hate this. And it started with the dancing's happening. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I was like, wait, maybe I am.
It's almost got that. It's almost got Teen Witch level of wait a minute. Oh my God, they did it. I like this.
No,
I
don't
should hate this.
It's infectious.
It's
You're like,
infectious.
oh, I don't like this, but I know that it's going to. I'm a vampire now. I can't do anything about it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That fucking. I keep going back to that scene where he's standing on top of the
building.
The building, and they got the fucking sweeping crane shot, and it's like, dude, this shit is dumb.
And it was just you can see it happening from the outside in, even though you're watching through the camera. That what's really happening is he's just putting it on, and the director's like, okay, you and that camera guy fucking go to town.
Go.
And they do it.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine waking up that day and being like, today's the day. I'm filming that scene. I'm going to be up on top of that fucking roof, and we're going to put on a fucking production today.
Weird.
This is going to be a big deal.
Yeah. And his charm is at a maximum level.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And even when the movie starts, you've got that big Dancing in the Streets. It's not, the song is not Dancing in the Streets, thank God, because that song sucks. But the Dancing in the Streets scene with all the the people of the neighborhood coming to, you got the milkman's there, just some random walker by, the lady with her dog. I'm pretty sure there was a grizzly bear in there. Godzilla shows up and everybody's dancing, because that's what it is. It's just a silly dancing movie. And then the dance fighting scene, they literally dance fight. It's not that they're fighting with the choreography of dance. They're serving each other with dance moves, and it's painful to the opposing game.
Yes, it is. And every once in a while, somebody gets hit like wrestling trash can or something like that.
It's nanners.
How did you not like it, Jackie?
I'm just over here rolling my eyes. Shut up, you two.
I think she drank too much the night before, because this is what happens every time we're like, what the fuck? How did you not like this? She drank the night before, and I think she was just grumpy, Sam.
Just grumpy, like, I don't care how awesome the singing and dancing is. I'm sad.
I don't feel good. So I think we're going to pin her down and make her watch it again.
Oh, no,
because
you're not.
I'm pretty sure she likes that movie.
No.
I am
Don't
pretty
like
sure
it.
there's no way you don't like that movie.
Fucking dumb.
It is awesome.
Ugh.
Number 3, Jackalulu.
My next one, my number 3, was Santa with Muscles.
Santa
Santa
with
with
muscles!
muscles!
Wow. I thought about it, Jackie.
Yeah, I
I
did
really
too.
thought about it, because it is like, I should hate this, but I kind of like it.
That's kind of how I felt too. The villains were ridiculous, right?
It should be,
They're in an ice cream van.
it should be like nauseatingly bad.
Yeah, and this guy is a total tool bag, right?
Right.
Loses his memory, and then ends up saving an orphanage.
Right?
And he lives at this orphanage. Like, nobody questions that this hobo now lives in an orphanage with all these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then they build him a Santa suit without any sleeves.
So he
What
can be
the fuck?
he can be a Santa vigilante.
Yeah, Santa Lanny.
Santa Lanny.
Yeah.
Like, man, we should hate this movie.
I liked it. It was on my outside
did.
looking in. I didn't put it in my top 10, but it was like that. There was like a handful that were right there, and Santa with Muscles. Like, I glossed over it, and I was like, no, not that one. Then I was like, no, wait a second. I really liked that a lot.
And like, I don't even have a problem with it being that high on your list. Like, it's not on my list at all. I'm with Sam. But I don't have a problem with it being that high, because once again, of all the movies that we watched for Christmas, and we watched a lot of bad Christmas movies in 6 years, this is the one that got Christmas the most right.
It did definitely nail the spirit of Christmas.
It truly is a kind, warm movie during the holidays. Like, I would show this to my kids.
And because of what happens, I would say that he's also the most Santa Clausy of any of the Santa Clauses in any of these movies.
Absolutely. And valuable lessons are learned, and but man, we should hate that movie. I mean, just show some people some stills of it, some still for like, what about this? They're gonna be like, no, I have no interest in that movie.
Yeah.
Nope. No. The villains are so dumb and bad and not cool. And then you add Hulk Hogan in it, 90s Terry, the worst Terry. Maybe now Terry's the worst Terry. I'm not real sure, but he's not 80s Terry. Oh, no, I'm out. I wouldn't have done that movie in 1,000 years if it hadn't been for that show. You never would have talked me into it. Super glad we watched it.
Okay.
Jackie, now that I rambled about your movie.
I think we covered it. We could probably move on.
Okay, all right. It was the most Christmas movie that we've ever done, for sure. Not my favorite Christmas movie, but it was the most Christmas movie, for sure. Number 3, no surprise here, Picasso Trigger. Anytime we have a year where we see an Andy Sedaris movie, it's going to make the year in review.
I forgot that we watched it this year.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it probably would have made it on mine.
Yeah, did a podcast, did an episode on it, the whole shebang. There's maybe 3 people in the world that I follow in film more than Andy Sedaris, whereas the entire catalog is just one big, I love it all.
Yeah.
And Picasso Trigger is such a departure from the previous 2, as far as it's not, but when you think about it, it kind of is, because there's no ninjas in it. There's no monsters, hard ticket to why he has the snake. There's no, It's not a softcore porn. Sure, Donna and Jackie get them out because, of course, they get them out. And there's lots of bikini women that have very large boobs. But it's not quite the softcore porn that Malibu Express almost dances along. And it's not the crime caper that Seven is. But it is, again, what I said in the last episode, like if you wanted to make all of the staples of an 80s action movie, this is it. You got Jeeps, you got beach boat scenes, you got rocket launchers, you got big guns, you got big boobs, you got big hair, you got super cheesy music that's not corny, like the 80s drum machine. It doesn't have that. It's almost like a really corny synth soundtrack that's in Picasso Trigger. You've got an elaborate plot where there's a doppelganger situation. You've got dudes that know karate, wear zoomies, and have long hair that relentlessly kick people's asses. It's just like everything 80s action right there. Whereas, when I said this about Dark Angel, Come in Peace, that's almost a science fiction movie as well. But this is just 80s action, late night HBO movie.
And on a real thin budget.
On a super thin budget.
Yeah.
But it still looks good.
It looks
to me.
great. Well,
Yeah.
he's a great filmmaker.
He was a great filmmaker.
I mean, the wild world of sports, Monday Night Football. I mean, the guy was one of the great director producers of all time.
Yeah. No, I love Picasso Trigger. I mean, those three and Seven. I always forget about Seven because it's not in the Guns, Girls, and G-Strings collection. But God, those first four are just so fucking good.
Yeah. Picasso Trigger is the first one that I had ever seen.
Okay.
And I saw it late at night when
most people have seen Hard Ticket.
Yeah. The AMC would do some midnight movies once a week, and they were like kind of highbrow midnight movies, and they'd give you the history of it. And I can't remember the guy. It wasn't Malton. It was the silver-haired guy with the glasses. He did a whole 10-minute talk about Sedaris, and then that he thought that this was his best effort that he ever had.
You want to say that? I'm not going to talk you out of it. Like it's not mine, but it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, all four of those are just right there neck and neck.
I think in terms of a tight film, this is the tightest.
I think it's the tightest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he was saying. He's like, these are all fun. He's made these movies. This is this great television producer's retirement pictures. And his retirement pictures are better than most movies that anyone else will ever make.
Yeah, and see, like that you're right about it being tight, and it's also accessible because like Malibu Express, I would say should only be like, I wouldn't introduce bad film. I wouldn't lead with Malibu Express. I think you kind of already have to know some of what is happening in the genre. But if you're like going up to say somebody who was born in like 1994 and they never really watched a bunch of 80s movies, they saw maybe some Schwarz movies or some Stallone movies, but not any of the VHS or late night HBO movies. I would probably be like, okay, let's do Picasso Trigger. This is pretty much it. This is what this looked like in the 80s. This is what we had. And you're either going to like it or not, but it's like a time capsule of that period for action movies. So, yeah, I fucking love Picasso Trigger. I like it more each time I see it.
This is also one of the sort of because friend of the program, Roman and I first met lifting weights together when I was still at Boise State playing lacrosse, and
that's how Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee met too.
Yep.
And showed.
Yep.
And you looked over and you're like, that's the biggest cock I've ever seen on a man.
It was exactly like that. It's odd that the two of us, when I was in shape, and that was the same dynamic that was happening without the gayness. But you could have easily, we could have gone and doubled for those guys. Right. It would have been great. But when we were younger men, the talk just got to movies, and all of a sudden Picasso Trigger, and we would just kind of stared at each other, and we're like really good friends now, aren't we?
We're tight, bro.
Yeah.
I met you 5 minutes ago. I'd take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
Because you like Picasso Trigger. All right, Sammy, you're number 3.
Steel Justice with Martin Cove.
Justice with Martin Cove. 3 Snake.
3 steps.
3 steps.
3
yeah.
steps to Snake. The family murder.
Uh-huh.
That is just like the daughter is kind of like, oh, I guess my family's murdered. Can I help with the karate later? Like, no. Like, your family just got completely fucking murdered.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 Step was the real
Oh, 3.
star
I knew you were going to love
of this
3 Step,
movie.
Jackie. I knew you were going to love 3 Step.
He was my favorite part of the movie.
Absolutely. I think my favorite part of the movie is the bar scene. Like, when him and, it's not Cella Ward. Is it Cella Ward that's in that? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Where they're like, I hate you. I hate you. We don't belong together. Let's go fuck.
Yeah.
Like they clearly are a volatile relationship when they're together, but the passion is hot.
Yeah. And that he's
even though they're
been
both drunk and they're both probably going to jail later.
fired from God knows what.
It was like
It was wildlife.
commissioner of horse transport.
Well, it was like, yeah, fish and wildlife or fish and game or something. But like, he'd rounded up a bunch of wild horses. And then the guy's like, all right, give me those. He's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm the guy that gets those. I'm turning them into dog food. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, they're running free now. Like, okay, well, whatever. This is weird first scene to a movie.
Right. I also like when he comes in on the big it's not a big it's not even an APC, it's like a mini attack vehicle. Like it's like a small not a tank, but it's I don't know what you call those.
You know, it was like a tremendous military failure is what they were
Yeah,
called.
right. It's very Megaforce.
They
car.
ended up in some movies
Yeah,
instead
right.
of in practice.
And he comes in, and you like the whole scene. All the action transfers to bullets flying at him, and he's not even in it. Like
No.
it's awesome. You just think that he's gonna get up on like a 50 cal and start blowing guys away, but he doesn't because they couldn't actually use that to do anything.
Or that the movie actually starts with him in Vietnam on a heist
Right,
with
a knife gun.
a knife gun and the Vietnamese maybe in hovercrafts. Little ones, not the big ones, little hovercrafts. The rec ones,
Right.
recreational
Yeah,
hovercrafts.
Yeah.
Huh.
Steel Justice is a good time. Yeah, I highly recommend it. Nice call. Jax.
The Peanut Butter Solution.
The Peanut Butter Solution is your number 2 film.
I really, really liked this movie. I thought it was fun. The kid goes bald and then he has all this hair and then he becomes a paintbrush machine.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah, it's just so damn weird.
It's so weird.
Oh, if I would have remembered this one, it might have been on one of my lists. I forgot that we watched it.
Oh, shit,
so
man.
weird.
Yeah, this was Nonsensical November, and man, did it fit into the mold on that because it does not make sense.
It doesn't.
I do not know what this movie is about to this day.
It's special in its strangeness.
Yeah. Why does the art teacher live in a janitorial closet?
So fucking weird. It's just like that movie is stuck with me. It's like putting peanut butter in my brain,
Yeah.
not on top of my brain, but in it because it is sticky.
Mhm.
That kid is his face and his like being mad about life and his obsession with his hair is just following me wherever I go. It's like more stuck in my grill than Parasite. Like I think less about Parasite and 1917 than I do the Peanut Butter Solution.
Yeah.
It was a surprise too. I'd never even heard of it before a fan suggested it.
I didn't hear of it either. And then it's got a whole film series that they made of
Mm-hmm.
these things that were like these sort of surreal children's movies. You're like, okay, existential children's movies? We thought that was a good idea. I guess it sort of works, maybe. I can't tell.
What are you trying to say here? These kids have got problems with it's like almost transcendentalist
Yeah, exactly.
poetry for children.
Sure.
What?
Why does this guy? Yeah, you just have to watch it. It's just so weird.
It's so fucking weird.
Maybe if we would have seen it as children, we would have just turned to our parents and like, does any of this really matter?
Right. What are we doing here, guys?
Are you gonna cut my hair off for paintbrushes?
We all just turn into Sylvia Plath at the age of 8. Yeah, I do not fault you there, Jackie. We might be talking about that one a little later. My number 2 movie is Black Dog.
Number 2, huh?
Number 2.
It was an awesome film.
It was an awesome film. It will forever live in. It's a Hall of Fame movie for me.
Yes.
I like it better than number 1. But number 1 was this year. If I hadn't seen Black Dog already 4 times in my life after just finding it last year, yes, I may have watched Black Dog a couple times by myself when you guys weren't around.
Yeah.
I like it that much.
Yeah.
It's Hall of Fame for me. It's as good as you can check Justin likes this buttons. Like, you want to say Heat is a movie made for you. Black Dog is the movie made for me.
Made for you, yes.
And they're like, why are we making this movie? Because this is going to stink. And they're like, yeah, this guy's a fucking weirdo. I don't know why we're making this movie for him. Wait, fucking, really? Randy Travis? We're going to do this with Randy Travis and his family? And like, why are we doing this? And that guy that dies and they don't do anything about it in the back of the truck. I mean, this is fucking nanners. And what's with all these retired guys getting killed on the highway? Like, they're just doing their job, you know? Like, I don't know if that guy deserved to die. Patrick Swayze blew that man up. His family needed that pension. Now they don't have it.
Some of the truck drivers were just truck drivers. You just killed the shit out of them.
Killed the shit out of those people. Nobody asked for it except for me, and they made it solely for me, and I'm so glad that they did. Number 2, Black Dog.
Number 2.
Sam, number 2.
Number 2 for me is Men of War.
Men of War starring Lundgren.
Starring Dolph Lundgren.
Which, so the Peacemaker, unless it's somebody's number 1, that's the only one that's out, not in
I
this
don't
list.
think the Peacemaker's going to make it because it was too dry in the middle.
It's on my honorable mentions. I
Yeah.
actually really like the Peacemaker.
I did too, but it's really dry in the middle.
really
And that's
dry in
what
the middle.
happened.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was probably going to be high on my list.
Yeah. So the Truckin' and the Dolph Lundgren are very successful film series.
Very successful. Men of War is high on my list because it proved to me that they're still out there.
Mm-hmm.
I can still run into a Dolph Lundgren movie that I haven't seen that I'll love.
Right. And see, that's what I thought about Dark Angel. I was like, wow. God, this guy's
I had already seen those ones.
that guy's
was the thing.
filmography is so deep.
It is. And I've known about Men of War forever, but I've never been able to get my hands on it. Or there was a really bad period where I was being super snobby, and I still do it sometimes. Like, until I find out for sure that the movie was made in 4:3, I won't watch an old DVD full screen.
Right.
And every time I ran into a copy of this, it was full screen. I was like, no, I know this was shot in 16:9. I'm not going to fucking watch this.
I think you should be snobby. You're missing literally a quarter of the movie.
Exactly. So it took me like 15 years of trying to see this thing, and then I finally saw it, and I was like, it's like what you said earlier, like, there's no way that this is going to live up to it.
Right.
And then it's like, fuck that, I'm going to blow up your expectations. Why are you going to blow? It's a rocket launcher, and it's Swedish like me. Kaboom! You're like, what? This is amazing.
It is amazing. I love Men of War.
And there's the drug scene with the guy that just like Noah's the beach.
Mm-hmm.
The bad guy,
Kano from
bananas.
Marco. Oh man, I love that guy. I always forget his name. I've already blanked on it. But
He was in Jag for a while.
I know
Yeah.
he's unfortunately passed away not very long after that, so we didn't get a lot of him. But he's so awesome. Jackie, you also watched Men of War because we did an episode on it. Didn't make your year-end review unless it's number 1. But
No.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised because I thought you really liked Men of War.
I liked all the booby traps at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm a little confused because I thought that Men of War had the snake.
No, that's Steel Justice.
That's still
The
Justice.
Steel
Yeah.
Justice
That's
had
Martin
the snake.
Cove. Men of War has Dolph Lundgren.
Right, with the don't sneak up on people. And the entire movie is about taking over the world economy with batshit.
With that shit. and it's got BD Wong in it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I enjoyed both of those films a lot. Still Justice and this one.
I thought you would. It's weird because sometimes we have to. There's a lot of again, we watch these movies that are on Amazon Prime usually that are like, oh, Martin Cove, he's not really a big deal. It's not like we say, oh, Jackie loves Martin Cove. It's not like he's fucking Chris Christopherson or something. And even then, she loves Dolph Lundgren, but hasn't seen near as many as we have. Both of those were movies that I was like, I think Jackie'd even like these really dumb action movies. And I don't even know if Men of War's dumb, other than that the entire plot is about batshit, literal guano. These guys are idiots. It's got the idiot plot. But there's still this him connecting with the people of the island and becoming one of them is very cool. It's not stupid. It's neat to watch. His character's metamorphosis from a mercenary into
A protector.
A protector, and not just a protector, but part of them. It's all about family.
Yeah.
He's them now. I love that movie.
Yeah, I really like it a lot. And I think one of the things that's sort of you don't notice because it's hard to sometimes when you're watching a film that has as many problems as it does, that was shot really well.
It was shot really well.
Yeah.
I almost think it's his Predator, really.
Yeah.
His solo. Now, obviously, Predator's an ensemble as well, but people want to think that it's stupid and stick around, a bunch of cheesy one-liners and gruesomeness, and that's what you show up for. I show up for Predator because it's just it's shot so goddamn well. And its pacing is fantastic, and I feel the exact same way about Men of Wars. It's dude, there's a lot of really good stuff happening behind this action movie that has rocket launchers in it.
Yeah.
It's a weird movie that I don't know what is, but I know that I like it.
Yeah.
Good call. All right, Jax, number 1 of the year.
Of the year.
The best movie you saw.
Number 1.
You guys are going to hate me for saying this. The Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus.
With Dudley Moore?
Yeah, Dudley Moore.
Wow.
Not even.
Really?
It was just a movie that just made me the happiest, and I love all the glitter and magic, and I love the lollipop dance. Jack, or Patch.
I love this movie.
I like to insert my own name into things.
Who was the bad guy?
John Lithgow.
John Lithgow.
Yeah.
Right.
And
He got shot into space.
He
right?
got shot into space.
he just floated up into space.
He's in the Forbidden Zone with General Zod.
And I like that the reindeer food had glitter on it and all the toys and.
Well, I thought the reindeer food was weed.
Yeah, I thought it was weed, man.
Well, no, the reindeer think they can fly. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. And the daring save at the end with the loop de loop and
Oh god, the super duper looper.
yeah, super duper looper.
Super duper looper.
I want you guys to know that after we watched that movie, I did go online and I found somebody who had a copy of that book.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And I bought it off of Amazon.
right. The novelization of the Santa Claus movie.
And it did not disappoint. Somebody's name is in it. I think it was Sarah or something like that. But
Dear Sarah, from your grandma, I'll always love you. Then grandma died later, and Sarah's like, meh.
yeah.
No,
I'll
Dear Sarah, from Grandma, I'll always.
Wait, are you saying or no, she wrote
Yeah.
like she was dying.
So it was my feel good of the year, and I loved all the special effects, and maybe it's just Christmas. I mean, I had two of my
Yeah, your top 2 were Christmas movies.
were Christmas movies,
Yeah.
but I really liked. I mean, don't get me wrong, I didn't get the meaning of Christmas. Santa Claus was kind of a dick.
Santa Claus was
And
total dick.
and he was a body shamer.
And
and
I think it's a nightmare for children. Santa and the reindeer die within 5 minutes on screen. That is not okay.
yeah, I kind of didn't remember that from when I was a kid.
even if those toys didn't fall apart, nobody wanted any
And
of
they're
that
shit toys.
Bunch of a wooden wagon. Fuck off.
Yeah, no, give me the stuff that makes me float up in the air. The drugs. Give me the drugs.
Give me the
Santa.
drugs.
Yeah.
You fuck off, Santa. I want what this Lithgow guy's selling. What Patch and Lithgow got together. Yeah, okay. I can see it on your list. I think 1 is really high, but whatever.
It was the one I enjoyed the most.
It's one of the movies I enjoyed the least this year.
Yes.
I know you guys hated it, but I thought it was great.
Hated it. All right. My number 1, the Peanut Butter Solution.
Peanut butter solution. That's not a surprise.
I fucking loved it. It was such a surprise that it worked so perfectly in being so baffling and so weird and so not appropriate for children to a degree. I mean, not even just the pubes thing, but like, I'll never forget, like, I think it was in South Park, the movie, where they're like, we don't care if our kids watch something violent or it has sex in it. It's much more important that they don't watch something that's stupid.
Yeah.
It was the Chin Pokemon episode. That was what I felt about this is like, I would stop a child from watching this just because I don't want them to be dumber after the experience. Like, this is not reality. There's nothing here that you need to figure out unless they do figure something out and then can explain it to me. Like, well, as you said, they go on this long philosophical diatribe about what the meaning of life actually is and why we're here. And at the end of it, I'm like, you said it all, man.
Sure. You borrow somebody else's kids, though. Just
right.
It's like, I'll babysit this week. Come here, kid.
Yeah,
watch this.
Your test.
Yeah,
Test subject.
I'm testing this on you instead of my own kids.
Lab rat with the peanut butter solution.
Yep.
God, it's so fucking nanners. But again, there's like this, like these kids. We try to avoid children's movies as much as we can because we say that we don't understand children's movies because we don't know what kids like. But this has this like the children movies that I do like. It's almost the same way with I Believe in Santa Claus, which is by far my favorite Christmas movie. Just this like adults telling children how they fucking feel movie. Like, I'm going to write this movie about this child and his experiences. And it's just so not at all like anything like being a child that it's like white dudes in ties telling women how they feel. No, you're wrong, dude. You don't know shit about what you're talking about. You made a movie where a guy puts peanut butter on his head so he can grow his hair back because he's lost as a human without it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so fucking dumb and
He's
weird.
doomed to eternal drum solos without his golden hair.
And the thing is the movie's not even about that. This kid's emotional state from losing his hair one day because he got scared to death. It's about something else. And the something else that the movie's about is fucking weirder than that.
Yeah.
Like, it just keeps leapfrogging its own weirdness from scene to scene, and all of them are bad scenes. I loved it. I absolutely loved
great.
it.
I loved it too.
It was fantastic. Sam?
Number one is Black Dog.
Number 1, Black Dog. All right.
Black Dog is the most fun I had with the podcast movies this year. And I think the reason is because I had seen it when it came out, and I was like, I'd been kind of I was worried whether it was going to be hot shit or just like, oh, this is a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd always thought it was probably an episode. And watching it again after so many years, what I've decided about Black Dog is it's ultimately the worst fucking pitch that Hollywood ever threw.
Oh, I completely agree with that.
So, like, because that's like a June block or a July block. It's like it's a summertime. It's supposed to be a blockbuster, and it's like, give them the heater, Ricky. And then you shot the light, Cody.
Right.
That's what, like, they threw a fastball and they hit a lady in the face.
Right. They want this to be Independence Day.
Yeah.
And instead, it's not even as good a movie as Breaker.
No, it's not. But it has all the money behind it, so you've just got these unbelievably large explosions that don't even need to. that are impossible to the story.
Yeah, I mean, most movies that are going to be this bad don't have this type of ammo behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this has got the big guns behind it, and which makes it a really rare stinker because,
Yes.
they're usually the ones that are bad are usually maybe bad because they didn't have enough money or the people behind it didn't have enough experience or talent, ineptitude, bad writing, things of that nature. This has got a bunch of fucking, like, people that should have goddamn known better behind it.
Yeah.
And it makes it special because of that.
Because you don't usually have explosions this, like, not movie explosions, but like when your accident explodes in your face, they're generally not this big.
Right.
This is one of the biggest fuck ups I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
And it makes it a rare and special gem.
Yeah. Like, no, absolutely, without a doubt. Like, it's just fucking, it shouldn't exist, and it does.
And Meatloaf as the most relentless and ridiculous villain in history.
Mm-hmm.
He can't die. He's unkillable. He's going
Right.
to chase you forever.
Right.
And coupons.
And coupons.
I thought that's when I really connected with his character.
Yeah.
when
You're just like me.
flipping coupons.
I'm the coupon guy. I'm gonna get you. And then he's a fucking like a Christian whack job. Like he's nuts about the Jesus and is also a murderous larch, like what is happening on screen? My one regret in life is not seeing this in the theater. I would have loved to have gone. I would have give me the time machine. I'm not going to bang ladies with it. I'm going to go to Black Dog on opening day in full costume. I'm making a cultural event of this. I'll be there standing in line. I got the tent out there. The news team comes by and is like, so what are you doing here? I'm in line for Black Dog. Cut to the cat show. Cut to the cat show. This guy's gonna hurt somebody. So cool. I'm glad number one, Sam, from you. That's it. That's the year in review. So what we got? Black Dog, Peanut Butter Solution, and the fucking Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus.
God, what a fucking weird one right there. We'll close out this episode with our favorite 3 movies that came out in 2019, whether we talked about them on the podcast or not, or saw them in the theater, or all the rules are open, except for they have to have come out in 2019. So, Sammy, why don't you go first? Just go all 3 of them.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you want to spend a little more time on one, but you don't have. We're not going to do the pass, the round robin.
Okay. Well, I think it might be more fun to do it this way because, like, I'll just wing it. How about that?
How about you wing it?
How about I wing it? My number 3 movie, and the way that I've always kind of gauged this is that it's you like it, whether you think I think there's better movies than number 3 out there, but at the same time, like, I thought about this movie a lot for like 2 weeks after we watched it. It was Midsummer. I really liked that movie ex post facto. When we were watching, I was like, that's a pretty decent little whatever it was, right?
Right.
Pretty decent little movie. But because I kept thinking about it, 2 weeks later, I was like, you know what? As it turns out, I really liked that movie.
John Wick 3, Parabola.
Yeah. Did not like that one nearly as much.
Just kidding.
When I went to the theater opening weekend to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was like, I don't think this is going to get Oscar nominated. I was wrong about that. But I liked it so much that I was like, man, I know this is going to be my favorite movie of the year. My favorite movie of the year was Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
So number 2 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And
Right.
number 1, because my racing boner is still fully erect,
Wait, so what was number 3?
Midsummer.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Midsummer.
Oh, yeah, Midsummer was...
Really surprised by that. Midsummer made your top 3 favorite.
Because I thought about it for 2 weeks afterwards. I was like, you know what? It wasn't what I expected. Mm-hmm. I can't even really...
you
pin
went
it
in very resistant to that movie.
Yeah. And I thought about it for like 2 weeks afterwards. And like 2 weeks right when we got done, I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. 2 weeks later, I was like, I really liked that movie a lot.
It was a curveball. It was a curveball for sure. Like, I thought that it was the movie that Olivia Wilde directed, which was actually called Booksmart.
Yeah,
I'm
we
an
didn't
idiot,
see that one.
Which we didn't see. I was like, dude, I heard some good things about this movie that Olivia Wilde directed. Totally didn't direct that. I don't think she was qualified to direct that movie. That movie was fucking bonkers. Like,
And-
not bonkers because it didn't make any sense. It was like disassembling your psyche.
it's a body horror is the only genre you can put it into, and it stands right in front of you and says, I am not just a body horror.
Right.
In fact, I'm not even really a body horror anymore.
Right. And we thought that the other thing, just based off the stills that I saw, we almost thought that there was going to be a Wicker Man-esque aspect to it.
Yeah.
And there kind of was. There kind of was. And it's not just that they're a bunch of loonies that live in their own little existence and have no buttons on their shirts. There was a little Wicker Man-y thingy there. But the hook, God, that when the hook happens, it hits hard.
It hits
and you
hard.
almost don't even know, like... that was not the hook I was looking for. Is there another hook coming? And then 5 minutes later, you're like, dude.
That's, yeah.
Oh, man, I think I liked that.
And there's a bunch of decisions that he made that you can question whether you like that decision or not. You can question whether you like what he did. You can say maybe that's over the top. Maybe that's not over the top.
I don't
What
think it
you
was.
can't say ever is that he didn't execute every fucking piece of that
I agree.
absolutely perfectly.
I agree.
I personally think that the graphicness wasn't over. It was just right.
I think it was necessary.
Yes.
I think it was absolutely necessary.
I thought that movie was just right.
It made me feel uncomfortable,
Yes.
and I've seen a lot of graphicness in movies, and that was the experience I believe I was supposed to have. Absolutely perfectly executed film. I didn't mean to just rattle them off and talk about them a little bit, but Ford versus Ferrari over Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, huh?
Yeah. Even though, as I said, I was in the theater going, this is my favorite movie of the year, which happens, I think, every year. We see this when we're like, oh, this is the winner.
That's it. Nothing badder's going to happen.
And then it does.
It's
right?
only March.
Because I go to that opening weekend, and then, my two things was oh, this year when we talk about the good movies, I'm going to have seen this, which won't get nominated. And I'll also seen these little fun Jojo Rabbit that nobody saw. And then I didn't even watch that, and everybody else did. And it wins fucking awards everywhere. Best laid plans of mice and men, I suppose.
Right.
But yeah, for the entire time of the full year up to the Oscars, I'm like, no, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was my favorite movie of the year. And then the night after the Oscars, I had Dollar Reynolds in my Vudu, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to watch Ford versus Ferrari. It's on here. Yep, I like that one better.
Yeah,
I really liked that movie
I am
a lot.
very surprised about that because your taste in film, especially if you're going to put something in your top 3, usually you put something a little more highbrow, and I don't think that Ford versus Ferrari is a dumb movie, but I don't think it's much of a concept movie.
No.
You usually like concept movies. That's about as straight-laced sports movie as that they've ever made.
Yeah.
It runs through all of the things that good sports movies does. It just does them very well. So I was kind of surprised that you liked it that much. Of all the big movies this year, I probably would not have recommended you see that one.
Oh, I loved it. And I just feel like at this point, even though there's been some Mangold movies that aren't that great, but when he's doing his thing, that guy fucking speaks to me.
Yeah, Logan
That guy
had its
fucking
problems,
speaks to
but
me.
but it's there. It's there. I mean, the what's laying underneath the surface of Logan is ooh,
Yeah.
oh boy, man, I'm looking forward to what this guy's got. And Jackie loved Ford versus Ferrari. She was hurting my hand in the movie theater during it because she was squeezing it so hard.
Yeah, it is my number 2 movie.
Okay,
of the
there
year.
you go. All right, well, we'll come back to you and you can talk a little bit more about it. All right, Jackie, go ahead.
So we all know that what my number 2 is.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 3 was The Marriage Story.
Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson and Noah Baumbach movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I really felt like Darth Vader did such a good job.
Darth Vader and Black Widow were awesome.
No, I just the emotions in the pivotal fight scene, right, where everything just kind of explodes.
Right.
Just I don't know, and it's just not what you expect it to be. And,
I did not expect it to be what it was.
yeah, and you're rooting for this to happen, but you realize at the end that it's not going to, and then you still want it to, and it's kind of it's an emotional roller coaster that it's just. I thought that it captured real life very well.
And I think, unfortunately, because of, and maybe I'm making an assumption about our listeners, but if I was listening to this podcast and Jackie said Marriage Story, and the only thing I knew about Noah Baumbach was the squid and the whale, I would be like, nah, I'm avoiding that. That's not going to be for me. But the thing is that it's not just all the emotions. It's just a fucking experience. Like, it is a ride, but it's a ride of watching these two people's lives, and it's like how you write characters. This is how you do it. It's a clinic on character writings. I think it's one of the best screenplays I've ever seen or read or whatever. He fucking knocked it out of the park on that screenplay. Driver's great. Johansson's great. Laura Dern's great. But it isn't like this sappy cry fest that you might think it is. It's just a clinic on how to write characters. And again, I don't even know if I like these people, but I love them. They're part of me. They like, I want them to have good lives, and I don't even know if I like them.
Yeah.
That's how awesome a fucking job he did on that. So I do not fault you for that. But I really do. I can't recommend Marriage Story enough.
Yeah. And my number one pick, I probably no surprise to anybody. I loved Jojo Rabbit.
JoJo!
I just thought that it was just really well done. And it was kind of hard because I really, like Sam's talking about Midsommar, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, or not Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Are you a Mexican or a Mexicant?
Two sexies.
Yes. Damn it. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was a thinker for me. I kept going back to it.
It took you a long time to warm up to that.
Yeah, and then I realized that I super loved it, right?
Oh my God, I liked a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, but Jojo Rabbit just, it took a very serious time in history and introduced a very human element to it.
Maybe in the top 3 darkest of all times, Jackie. Yeah, big deal.
Yeah, I loved it.
And
I loved the weird Hitler. I loved that, he got hurt at camp.
Oh, God. Oh, man.
It was wonderful. It was a great movie. And it's also one of those ones that you just have to sit down and experience it. And it's kind of like Ford versus Ferrari. If you don't sit down and experience that film, and because it enwraps you.
I think you're way off there. You can sell Ford versus Ferrari. It's about car racing. Oh, okay, I'll go watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you like fast cars, it's a pretty easy sell. JoJo is it's a comedy about Nazis. I'm sorry. Okay. Not quite as easy as.
Wait, they made Springtime for Hitler?
Yeah, they actually did.
Wait, are we sure about
Are we
that?
sure here? Whereas, like, car guys drive cars really fast. Just okay, I'd watch that.
Yeah.
It's not a hard sell. Matt Damon's in it. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'll go
right,
see it.
right.
I was really surprised though that Christian Bale did not get some kind of nod as
Bale
best
is
actor.
Fucking deadly in that.
He just fucking nailed that.
He's so good. Is he a machine? I'm pretty sure he's
He's
more
a
machine
machine.
now than man. Not because he isn't aging, but because nobody can be that good of an actor. It just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. He does not compute. I've just sprung a gasket, and my computing brain is.
Yeah, he's the reason that I loved American Psycho.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the only reason people love
Yeah.
that movie. And people do love that movie. I'm not among them. But yeah, dude, 2 years in a row that guy got robbed. Whatever. My number 3 best year of the movie, something like that.
Best year of the movie.
Was almost the same as the previous year. It's a surprise. It shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't have been garbage. I shouldn't have liked it at all. But when I came out of it, I was like, dude, I really like that goddamn movie. Alita Battle Angel.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, it shouldn't have worked.
It shouldn't have worked. Should have been crap. We
Yeah.
went into that like, this has
is
got to
a
be an episode.
Bad movie field trip. I was like, no, they did a pretty good job with that.
They did a pretty good job with this manga that shouldn't have worked at all. It should have looked stupid. She should have been like, oh
Awful.
my god. She should have been
Because
awful.
everybody else was people, and she's not real.
She's not real. She's got way too big of eyes. I mean, it's like, it's manga. And
But only part of it. It's like that sticking a piece of art in the middle of the movie with the rest of it being live action. Well, the people being live action and the rest of it being it shouldn't have worked.
And I thought it was an absolute blast. I thought it, like Ready Player One is what I'm comparing it to. Like, God, that's dicey, and you fucking did it, huh?
Nice.
I'll be goddamned. I really liked it. I really hope that it turns into a franchise. If you're out there hunting for franchises, I mean, the Star Wars is over, the Fast is slipping, the Lord of the Rings are long gone, the Avengers are done. Let's maybe give this Alita a try. I mean, we're all pretty sick of John Wick. I'm going to be pretty honest. I mean, I think you guys think you like it out there, but you're just watching the same movie over and over again, and it gets progressively not as good. Let's try Alita. Let's try it. I want another one.
Sure.
Number 2, 1917. I thought it was amazing. It's not just good. It is a masterpiece. I would compare it to continually to the Mona Lisa, the David, the Venus de Milo. It is a film masterpiece. I think it's as good as Citizen Kane. That's literally how I feel about it. I could be wrong, but I believe in 30 years that this will be still taught in film school. It's that good. And it was a shocker to me because it has this weird thing that breaks from most war movies, because let's face it, most of the war movies out there are crap. We did a Vietnam conversation between the two of us, and we could only think of there's 100 Vietnam movies, but we could only think of 3 that are any good.
Yeah.
If there's 100 Vietnam movies, then there's 500 World War II movies.
And there's 5 or 6.
There's 5 or 6 of them that are good. This breaks from the mold of what heroism typically looks like in a war movie so much because it literally, the plot of the movie is a man delivers a note. But why that note
almost on time.
Almost on time. What bravery looks like is that film. It's not jumping in front, running out of a ditch with a fucking gun and killing a bunch of guys. That's what we're told war movies look like. But this is not that. It's literally a man delivers a note at great peril at all times. And with very high stakes. And it's stunning in how it was made, its special effects. It's a clinic in lighting, at the very least, even if you like it. That's the best lit film I've ever seen by far. Cinematography is just insane.
The cinematography is
doesn't
make
make
one of those
sense.
that I need to, as soon as I can get my hands on how they did it, I'm gonna watch it.
I would watch 2 hours of 1917 and then 4 hours of how it was made. It's fascinating how they did it. It's Sam Mendes just fucking knocked it out of the park. However, it is not my favorite movie of the year. My favorite movie of the year is also Jojo Rabbit. Yeah. Jojo is now a part of me. It is, once we get it on Blu-ray, I've only seen it the one time, but I believe that it is in that very hard to get into top 10 list of mine that I've had sitting up there. It's up there with Master and Commander. It's up there with Children of Men. It's up there with Copland. It's up there with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which, yeah, okay, hey, that's a little weird from what I said before. It's up there with Joe versus the Volcano. Jojo will forever be a part of me. And because it's not just that it's funny, it's not just that it's socially says something. It just makes you feel human at the end. I understand. I don't want to go through what these characters have gone through, but when they once they have gone through their journey, I want to be there with them. I want to shake their hand and give them both a high five and be like, you know what? You guys are all right. I'm with you on this. I'm with you on this, and I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it through what you went through. And why don't you guys come live with me now? You guys can be part of my family. I like you. Jojo JoJo's awesome, and I can't recommend it enough. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. That is the end of the episode, guys. Next week, we are off because technically Jackie and I will still be in Hawaii. So you will have to wait for another week after that. And then again, unless we get quarantined and we never have the podcast anymore because we now live in Hawaii. Sam, if we come back on time or not on time, what is your next pick?
Firecracker with Darby Hinton.
Firecracker! Hell yeah, dude. Currently streaming on Amazon Prime. If you like the Darby Hinton, make sure you check that out. I saw the first 5 minutes and I was like, oh, gotta stop this. This is an episode. So, which we always do good on those
And then
ones.
you showed me, I was like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to get a hold of that.
Yeah.
Roman has a copy. It was just the last few times he's been in town, he hasn't been able to do the podcast. So.
Right.
Otherwise, we would have already done it.
Yeah, so make sure you check out Firecracker and be ready for that. Jackie, final thoughts? Anything?
No.
Okay. No, I don't. Get to the chopper.
Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.